14th of April 2019. I'm here to share with you some of the important aspects of a newly introduced scheme which is called the Innovator scheme. This scheme replaces the Tier 1 entrepreneur category which had been subject to a lot of criticism and was termed as something which was badly misused, although it wasn't exactly like that. It was the fault of the lawmakers and the people who were administering it, and of course the users as well. Now the new category, the innovator category, which may in its fundamentals be somewhat the same as the entrepreneur category, but the important aspect or the decision making aspect of whether a certain business plan or a certain proposal or proposition is really a good one, on the basis of which someone should be allowed to remain in the country or come to the country and do that business, and that should lead to settlement and nationality. So the selection process, which is a very important thing in such cases, has been taken away from the Home Office and the UK Visa and Immigration, and this has been taken to the independent assessors. We call them as endorsement bodies. So far 24 endorsement bodies have been selected, rather I would say approved. These are mainly venture capitalists who would be funding people for their businesses otherwise, and therefore would know what new businesses from youngsters or say experienced people are really good business propositions. So the government felt that if we give this to someone who is an expert on these things, the results of selection may be better. The final decision of grant of a visa would still be with the Home Office, so they can still have their oversight over the process. Now the things are not ready at the moment, although the scheme was officially launched from the 29th of March last month. But so far the progress is very slow because the endorsement bodies who have been approved, they are trying to set up their own systems and principles or procedures how to evaluate these applicants for the purpose of the Home Office. How much would they charge for such evaluation? All these things are still in the infancy. No application has obviously so far been made under this new scheme. The investment criteria, which was previously 200,000 under the entrepreneur scheme, except for 50,000 in certain other things like venture capital funding, has now under the innovator category been brought down to £50,000. So you have to have £50,000, and there are selection criterion which have to be met at the end or at the time of the extension of the first visa, at the end of the first visa, the first term of the leave. And these criteria include things like the achievements of the business. One of the achievements would be whether they have created jobs. Now, creating 2 jobs was mandatory under the entrepreneur scheme. Here it is not mandatory, but would be one of the point scoring things. So other things can also be relied upon in lieu of creating 2 jobs. But £50,000 investment is something which has to be done. The business plan aspect is very important. That is the vital thing. Still you have to have a business plan, just like the Tier 1 entrepreneur. It can be prepared professionally. Now instead of the Home Office, the endorsing body will examine the plan, assess whether this is good enough, and then they will give an endorsement certificate. On that basis, then the applicants would make an application to the Home Office, to the UK Visa and Immigration, at the embassies or wherever, for grant of a leave under this category. This category is also for 5 years, which is 3 years plus 2 years. Initially 3 years and then 2 years. Maintenance funds would still be a requirement just like before, and the £50,000 funds should also be in a bank accessible to the applicant, and for this purpose should have been in the bank for at least 90 days. The documentation process is nothing different. It's all just an application form, evidence of the accessibility of the funds, that the funds, if they are in an overseas bank, they can be transferred to the UK, and things similar to the previous scheme. The English language capability or proficiency required would now be B2 instead of B1, slightly higher than B1. And there is nothing extraordinary in the scheme except that the concept is a little more polished. Innovator would mean someone who is bringing some new ideas or is going to do the existing businesses or the existing lines of businesses, but with some form of newness or innovation into that system. It should not be just ordinarily the same thing what everyone else is doing and in the same way as they are doing. Thank you.